I think the firmament, pi, and Nikola Tesla's 369 theory are all connected. This video might blow your mind. So I started looking at pi, and you're basically just measuring a circle. I stared at this image for a couple minutes, and then the Bible verse popped into my head about looking over the circle of the earth. The more I looked into what pi is actually used for, I found out that you can't create a dome or an arch in architecture without pi. So then I started to think, are they measuring the firmament with pi? And then I kept thinking about Nikola Tesla's 369 for some reason. I started plugging different numbers into pi. So I had ChatGPT run 3.3 repeating to find the circumference instead of the 3.14 number. And when you replace pi with 3.33, it converts to 66.6. So in Kings 7:23, it says, "Then he made the sea," I think the sea is the waters above, "of cast metal. It was round, 10 cubits from brim to brim and 5 cubits high, and a line of 30 cubits measured its circumference." The biblical value of pi, as derived from 1 Kings 7:23 and 2 Chronicles 4:2, appears to be an approximation of 3, but some interpretations suggest it may imply a slightly more precise value, such as 3.3 repeating, the reason for that being that there was never adjustments for the thickness. Here's the math. Keep in mind, this is the quantum computing model, and look at what they call particles, qubits, just like in the Bible. And we can energy harvest with piezoelectric, pi. If you measure the hemisphere with 3.3 repeating instead of pi, it comes out to 999. Keep in mind, this is what a hemisphere looks like. So then I asked it to create an image of a geodesic dome utilizing 3.33 repeating instead of pi, and look at what it gave me. I'm so shook. It has the sacred hexagons built into it, and hexagons are the most powerful energy producers, and it even has like a hexagon grid that it put in there. It also included this, which looks like an ancient astrology map. And look at this, in the top left, it has a little bubble that says Tesla with lines connecting it to the firmament. He was trying to tap into the firmament. This is an ancient astrology map, and it perfectly explains why Polaris is in the middle and all of the stars rotate around it. And this looks a lot like this. And this looks exactly like this. I asked ChatGPT to make a 369-degree circle, and this is what it gave me. It even has the circles around the corners, and these also look like eyes to me. Then I asked, how might 3, 6, and 9 be relevant in this model? And it says 3 is the central point, the North Pole, from which all else radiate. 6 could represent intermediate points or radial lines dividing the Earth into sections, similar to a hexagonal layout. 9 could symbolize the outer edge or boundary, often associated with the ice wall, marking the completion of the structure. So I think 3 is here, it's the center of creation, and I think 9, or completion, is the ice wall, and we live here where creation and completion meet and man lives, which made me think of the black hole sun model. This basically states that there is a black hole sun in the center of the Earth at the North Pole that works together with Polaris. When these two meet, it projects all of reality outwards. And let us not forget, this is the Freemason symbol, 33rd degree Freemason. So a lot of us know about the ley lines. Ley lines are basically just an energy grid that connect us to free energy. Almost all important landmarks and structures, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Eiffel Tower, the Pantheon, they are all on ley lines. I think that the energy coming out of the black hole sun is meeting at the vertices of the 369 dome. And I think that's somehow creating the ley lines, and that it might have something to do with the angles and the refraction of light on the geodesic dome. 1/3 of the speed of light in a vacuum is about 99.93 million meters per second. Half the speed of light in water is 0.333. 3.33 times the speed of light would come out to 999 million meters per second. However, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, no object with mass can reach or exceed the speed of light in a vacuum. Therefore, it's impossible. Remember, the vacuum is outer space. Einstein was trying to tell us that God is impossible. Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call to me and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known." I have chills. John 3:33 says, "Whoever receives his testimony sets his seal to this, that God is true." In other versions of the Bible, this quote says, "Whoever has accepted it has certified that God is truthful." And guess the height of the most challenging part of the Van Allen belt, aka the firmament. 33,000 miles up. The Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle are located at 66.5 north and south latitude, respectively. Remember, Tesla's whole thing was about harvesting free energy. Tesla also seemed like he didn't believe in globe Earth. He fully denied gravity and only worked with electromagnetic force. He constantly bagged on the theory of relativity. He even said, "We are held together like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable." He also said, "The curvature of space is entirely imaginary. Matter, force, and energy are original ideas of the universe and cannot be completely controlled by relativity. He didn't believe that light or electromagnetic waves could exist in a vacuum without a medium, meaning space can't exist without water. Also rejected the Big Bang Theory entirely. I truly believe that this is the great mystery around 369, and that it's really just the firmament, and that they're not giving us an accurate version of pi. If this is a dome, the highest point in the dome could be responsible for the effects we see with the northern lights. It also validates polar vortexes and climate zones. This scripture blew my mind when I realized it's when he comes back for his bride. It says, "The voice of my beloved, behold he comes leaping over the mountains, bounding over the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, there he stands behind our wall, gazing through the windows, looking through the lattice." Do you guys know what it's called when they weave the top of a pie crust? Lattice. Firmament is the lattice. This is the net. They're both pi. The first person to accurately estimate pi was literally named Archimedes. It's in the name, arc. Think about the words that have pi in them. Pious, it literally means religious. It means you're a completed Christian. You're beyond the firmament. Piano. The piano has 88 keys. The Bible has 88 books, and we have 88 constellations, divided into 7 octaves. This is God's number, each containing a set of notes that repeat in cycles of 12 days. The book of Enoch tells us that we have 12 stargates that the sun and moon come and go from. Pine cones. Pine cones have 369 built into them, and that's why the occult worships pine cones. Pineal gland. Pi. They look like pine cones, and when you open your third eye, it's considered to be like a spiritual awakening. Fibonacci spiral, there's pi in there. Pilot, they're flying across the sky right next to the firmament. Pioneer, you're pioneering something, you're creating something new. Epiphany, there's pi in there. Epiphany is the revelation of Christ. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm completely crazy. Don't listen to a word I say. These are just my theories and opinions.